We have plenty of lists rounding up the best monitors, but for now we want to keep you guys informed of some of the best and craziest monitors that money can buy that have released in 2018. So here's 5 awesome newly released gaming monitors of 2018. Starting off at number 5, we have a monitor that was on our list last year, but it just recently got a refresh for 2018. We're talking about the AOC Agon AG352-UCG6 Black Edition. It's still a 35-inch VA 34x1440 display with a 4 millisecond response time, but what's changed this time around is their refresh rate has been upgraded from 100Hz to 120Hz, and it still supports G-Sync. The silver stand has also been changed to black, so now the entire monitor looks very, very sleek. Unfortunately, those are the only changes that have been made. There's still no HDR, which we'll start seeing more and more soon in new monitors. And while going from 100Hz to 120Hz is great, you can get 144Hz in a lot of monitors nowadays, so 120Hz isn't totally mind-blowing. Now, for someone like me, I think I'd totally be fine with 120Hz, but there are a lot of spec snobs out there that might not even look at this monitor because it isn't 120Hz. So while it isn't perfect by any means, it also isn't a bad monitor. We could use a better refresh rate. The 21:9 aspect ratio could be an issue with certain FPSs, seeing that some don't support that aspect ratio at all. But because of the VA panel, the colors do pop, and that 1440 resolution looks really sharp, making this an ultra-wide monitor worth considering. And moving on to number 4, for those curved monitor lovers out there, we have the Samsung CHG70. This is a VA panel. I know a lot of people refuse to get anything but IPS, so you're gonna have to make some compromises with this one, even though when it comes to monitors, compromise is the name of the game. It's rocking a 2560x1440 resolution, which I personally think is the resolution sweet spot, with a 144Hz refresh rate that you can knock down to 120Hz and 60Hz if need be, and it has a 1 millisecond response time. With the high response time and refresh rate, mixed with the HDR and the AMD FreeSync 2 support, which will help to prevent screen tearing, you're getting a really solid curved 1440p display. Design-wise, it's pretty normal. There's nothing about this that's like screaming at you, although it does have a light on the back that does pulse on the wall behind it if you're into that kind of thing. I have an LED strip in the back of my monitor that I use and like, so I'm assuming that this is very similar to that. It also has something called eye saver mode, which is designed to cut back on the blue light emissions, which help reduce eye strain. I don't know if this is a bullshit gimmick or not, but eye strain is a real thing, and it's cool that this monitor has something in place that's actively working against it. And coming in at number 3, we have the ViewSonic VX2758-CMH. This is a bit more on the budget side of things, coming in under $300. This is a 27-inch curved display rocking a 1080p resolution with a 144Hz refresh rate. It also supports AMD's FreeSync. For a lot of people, 1080p 144Hz is totally fine and acceptable, and if your PC isn't the greatest, you aren't going to be taking full advantage of a crazy-ass monitor anyway. The way we look at it, some folks want no-frill monitors, and to make this a well-rounded list, the ViewSonic makes sense to include. No frills means nothing really can go wrong with it. It's simple, it's dependable, but still nice quality. If the other monitors on this list scare you, consider checking this one out. And at number 2, we have the Acer Predator X27. This is a beast of a monitor with a 27-inch 4K resolution display with a 144Hz refresh rate with a 4 millisecond response time and HDR. It also features Predator Game View, which lets you dial in the picture a bit more with settings that you wouldn't find on a normal monitor. For the price, you'd think you'd be able to adjust the monitor however you'd like, but unfortunately it cannot pivot into portrait mode. It only moves up, down, left, right, and forward. Upon seeing this monitor for the first time, the first thing you're going to notice is the anti-glare panels, which will work to prevent other light sources to create any sort of glare on the display. Besides those panels, this design isn't too loud. There's a lot of black and metal and a flat design. It also supports G-Sync, which I'm sure by now you've realized I'm a big fan of because it makes games run so smooth. This is a $2,000 monitor, so it's pretty pricey, which means it definitely isn't for everyone. But I know a lot of people have been waiting for the release of this one since it was announced last year, and I hope it lived up to everyone's hype. And finally, at number 1, we have the Asus ROG Swift PG27UQ. This thing is a monster of a monitor. Talk about overkill. This thing is ridiculous. Spec-wise, this thing is packing. It has a 4K resolution with HDR support, a 27-inch IPS display, which has a 144Hz refresh rate with a 4 millisecond response time. So if you're really into those high frame rates, you're covered here. It also has G-Sync support, which means you'll be getting that high frame per second without screen tearing being an issue. Design Design-wise, this thing screams PC gaming. It's like RGB City too. It has the ROG logo on the back of the monitor that will glow whatever color or effect you want, but it also has 2 projectors built in as well. So you can project the ROG logo onto your desk and onto the wall like it's the bat signal. This is a little ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't think anyone needs stuff like this, but to each their own. I do appreciate the fact that the arm that holds the monitor does have built-in cable management support, so you can hide all of your cables, and the I/O is hidden as well. This thing will run you close to $2,500, so it definitely isn't for everyone, but this thing is so ridiculous, we just had to talk about it. And those are 5 awesome newly released gaming monitors of 2018, but we want to hear from you, so meet us down in the comments below and let us know what you think. Are some of these a little too overkill for you, and do you know of any monitors that you think we may have missed? As I'm sure you already know, hitting that like button really helps us out, and if you're new here, subscribing is a good idea because we put out videos like this every single day. As always, thank you for watching. We really appreciate you stopping by to hang out with us, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.